everyone hear me?
Yes!
Awesome. You know, I've been coming down to the area for, I think, 3 years now, and I really appreciate the opportunity. You guys may just know me as Jimmie Bell. Some of y'all, listen, some of y'all don't know who that guy am anyway, right? That's fine. I'm cool with myself. I am Jimmie Bell. I played with Ohio State from 92 to 97 with Coach Coop. So I'm probably the well, no, Vaughn is out here, so he's older. He's like dirt. But he's older than me. I'm generally the old head of the crew. But I also do analyst work for Fox and ABC during the football season and otherwise in the Columbus area. But what a lot of you don't know about me, and it's part of the reason Drew and I hooked up in the beginning, is because I go across the entire country speaking as well as life coaching, whether it's businesses, groups, school system, young adults, and what have you. Well, Drew just came up to me. I never come with the expectation of doing anything other than what's asked of me. You know, whenever I come to an area and I participate, I look at myself as a servant, and I'm gonna make sure that I give every piece of love, wisdom, knowledge, attention, whatever anyone needs from me, they're gonna get that from me. Well, Drew just hit me up, and you know, halfway through the camp, and he's like, Jim, can you speak this year? And I'm always like, well, you know what? You know, bro, whatever you want me to do, I'm totally fine with that. And then he went on to tell me, if some of you may know and some of you don't know, and if I offend some of you for even saying this, I totally apologize. But there was a kid about 30 minutes from here going into his freshman year who actually took his life. Did you guys know that? Mm-hmm. It's pretty sick, right? It's pretty, not sick as in sick, I'm like pretty crazy. Well, last year, true story, well, let me tell you this. Last month, I did some events in Marco Islands in Naples, Florida. I walk into Marco Island Academy to speak to the school, to speak to the kids as well as the administration. One of the administrators of the charter school walks up to me and she says, Jim, I have to let you know, we're just working through a kid taking his life. I'm like, geez. Well, the reason that touches me is because of this. Last year in North Canton, I spoke to a particular school right up the road, right up the river, and I normally carry this card with me whenever I go to speak to businesses, whenever I do fundraising, when I try to impress upon, not impress what I do, but impress upon people the importance of what I do and how I interact with your kids as well as you adults. You know, I'm a pretty no-nonsense, I have a ton of fun, but I'm a pretty no-nonsense dude. And what I do when I go into a school or what have you, I'll go in, I'll share a little bit of my story. After we're done, we do these comment cards, right? So I give the kids or the staff administration all an opportunity to express themselves. A lot of it has to do with, you know, encouraging the kids to make amazing decisions for themselves, letting them know that there's other opportunities and outcomes based upon the choices you make. Well, I have this one card that I always carry with me. Again, I don't think I have it in my car because I just got off the plane from Iowa last night. And the card said simply, it was a young girl, 7th grade. How many 7th graders do I have in here? Raise your hand. How many 6th graders do I have? Raise your hand. Adults, look at these hands. How many 5th graders do I have? 4th graders? 7th graders? Raise your hands again. Adults, look at these kids, right? The 7th grader, it was a female. Thank you guys for putting your hands up. You can put them down now. She puts on her card, after this assembly, I have chosen not to take my life. True story. I have the card. If anyone wants it, I'll send it over to you. Well, the reason why Florida kind of touches me, as well as when Andrew shared what happened about a month ago up the street why it touches me is because of this. I believe I was called by God to do something special and big for this entire world. I think we all are. But this specifically is part of my mission. So I feel like I kind of missed out. I feel like it's like, man, what if I had the opportunity to talk to that kid in Florida months before I got there? Jeez. Because I have the card to prove. I have the card. It's not me, I have the card. What if I would have been able to converse with that kid or just share something with that kid a month ago, 30 miles up the street from this town? It's crazy. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity to share with everyone what I would have shared with those two kids. And I hope some of this resonates with whomever it's supposed to resonate with. But I fight every single day. You guys probably heard me screaming at the kids going through the drills. And I'm telling them all, through their disappointment, that they have to learn how to fight. And there's a few things that I fight for every single day. And it's the same things I'm gonna share with you, and I wish I would have had the opportunity to share with those kids. One of the most amazing things that I fight for every single day is my legacy. Can you guys say legacy?
Legacy.
Guys, I believe our legacy is simply how will each and every one of us be remembered for the rest of our lives. I'm a little bit older, so I do think for the rest of my life. For a lot of you young adults, how will you guys be remembered every single day? Think about it. When things aren't going our way, how do we react and respond to things? That goes into our legacy. When things are going awesome for us, how do we react and respond to things? That's our legacy. How do we react and respond to every single person that we come in contact with? See, honestly, I believe part of my legacy is that every single person that I come in contact with has one of the most remarkable experiences that they'll ever have in their life. One of the most memorable ones. I may meet you for 30 seconds. You're going to get a lifetime of what I have to offer for you. Well, that's part of my legacy. The thing is, though, guys, is that I've taken responsibility for my legacy. One of the amazing things about all of our legacy, guys, young and wiser, I'm not going to call anyone old, young and I had to stop myself, wiser, is that we're 100% in control of our own legacy, guys, especially you young adults. Think about it. As young adults, one thing I know that frustrates you is that you guys don't think you have a lot of control. Your mom and dad and your teachers tell you to do that over there, and you want to go do this. You want to go do this, and they want you to do that, and it gets totally frustrating. But if it's one thing that all of you guys here today understand, is that you guys are in control of how you're remembered for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter what I actually think about you, not by not knowing you, but it doesn't matter what I say about you. It matters about what you do. How do you treat people? How do you allow things to affect you? Are you willing to put everything into everything that you do? Are you willing to show love to even when some people aren't lovable? Are you willing to protect some people who may not be able to protect themselves because you were taught to protect them? Are you going to be responsible for speaking up against injustice when you see it right in front of your face? Or maybe you'll be the type of person to turn a blank eye and say, you know what, that doesn't affect me. Well, I don't have that luxury. And whatever God is put on your heart for you guys to take responsibility for that, your legacy, don't take it casual. Take responsibility for how you'll be remembered. Guys, the next thing that I take responsibility for is my journey. I take responsibility for my journey and I fight for it. I challenge every single one of you guys to fight for your journey. I generally call it your dream. How many of you kids know what you want to do when you get a little older, when the rest of your lives? Awesome, keep your hands up. How many of you adults know what you guys want to do with the rest of your life. And if you don't, you should think about it. Because until you die, you should be fighting for something. You should be fighting for something. Put your hands down. Thank you. And I raise my hand not to get you to raise your hand. I raise my hand because I know what I want to do with my life, and I have to fight for that thing every single day. We all have to fight for it. Not with our fists and not with our body, not with our physical, no. You have to learn to fight with your heart and fight with your mind. And this is why, guys, especially you young adults, and some of you adults need to hear this too. Everything that we do on our journey, no matter how perfect it is, it's simply not going to work out exactly the way we want to all the time. Right? Everything isn't going to look exactly how we think it should look at any given time. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world. When we do exactly what our bosses tell us to do, exactly how we think it should be done, or our parents or our teachers or our coaches tell us to do something totally perfect, and if we do it perfect, they promise us a reward, or something's going to feel better, or something's going to look better. And how frustrating is it when you know you put everything into it and you can't see what you think it should look like? Ooh, I know how frustrating it is. I know you adults know how frustrating it is. And if you kids are honest, I know you know how frustrating it is. And one of the things I have to work on the most, to be totally honest with you guys, is that I don't always feel so confident about myself. Yeah, I'm a big dude. I'm doing some things. I've done some things. I walk around here with my head up and my chest out like I'm confident. Sometimes I'm faking it. To be totally honest with you. I used to be the guy, I used to play in front of over 100,000 people in college. I used to play in front of 70,000 people in the pros. And I literally was the guy to be like, man, if a tornado came and tore this whole stadium up, I wouldn't have to play. And if I didn't have to play, guess who ain't screwing it up? That's anxiety. I get anxiety when every time I get up to share, I get anxiety, and sometimes I forget what I'm gonna say. My stomach gets a little queasy. But guys, even when things don't look the way we want them to look, when we don't feel so good about ourselves, and when things aren't working out exactly how we need to work out, guys, we have to learn to fight, to do whatever it takes for that dream that we have to come true, and for us to finish that journey. Understand this, guys. How many people watch track and field? Put your hands up. Awesome. Put your hands down. How many people have ever seen the steeplechase? Put your hands up. If you put your hands down. I'm gonna have everyone who didn't put their hands up, I want you guys to YouTube a steeplechase race. You know what? I'm gonna tell you how important it is. And when you watch it, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Some people will tell you that life is like a sprint. Some people say, no, life ain't like a sprint. Life is more like a marathon. And I'm like, man, life ain't like either. Life is like a steeplechase, right? Think about it. A steeplechase is that you start with a commitment to understand where your final destination is, right? You know you're gonna run about 3,000 something meters. Who in the world wants to do that? And not only that, you start running your 3,000 meters, and you're running smoothly, you got your stride, and you're like, oh wow, there's an obstacle in front of me. And then you have to actually choose to get over the obstacle. You can not run it. You can say, I'm out. But you know what? You either can run over it. I've seen people step over it. I've seen people hurdle over it like they have nothing. You got to find a way to get over that hurdle. And then you continue on your journey, right? You're smooth sailing because, boy, I done jumped over that hurdle. That's nothing. And then you're running again. And then you see the next obstacle, and you're like, you can't get me. I know how to jump over this obstacle, to get over this obstacle, because I've been through the other one. And then you finally jump over that obstacle, and then you look down and say, oh, dang, there's water down there that I'm gonna fall into, right? So after every obstacle that you think that you've conquered, there's another portion of that obstacle that you got to figure out, how am I going to handle that? Right? And then once you figure out I'm going to get up out of this water, and you be like, I know I'm going to be smooth sailing just like before, right? And then you figure out that, dang, the rest of this journey is going to be a little harder because now my feet are bogged down with 10 pounds of water. So now you have to choose when you're tired, when you want to give up, when you don't feel like going anymore, when there's no way that you could even see that finish line that you knew you were going to finish. You have to make a conscious decision that no matter how tired you get, no matter how bogged down that you feel, you got to say, listen, I'm willing to fight for myself. I'm willing to fight for that journey. I'm willing to fight for that dream. Because to be totally honest with you guys, God put everything in you guys to have the courage to fight for everything that you dream about. He's actually giving you the gift. Everyone in here has an individual gift, something that they're totally uniquely good at. People may laugh at you about it. People may criticize you about it. People may not understand. You may be the person in the middle of a crowd and you feel alone because of that gift that God gave you. But he also gave you the courage to take that gift and fight for it. But understand this, I totally understand how hard it is to even fight for yourself sometimes. But consider this, with that gift that God gave you and the courage that he gave you, you're responsible for blazing a trail. It's your trail that you're responsible to blaze. Imagine the fact that there's other people who need to get to their destination by following the trail that you blazed. But if you don't have the courage to blaze that trail yourself, you're actually hindering someone else to getting to their destination. I'm not willing to take responsibility for that. And for some of you adults, I will sidebar this. I was very serious about, if you don't have a dream or something that you're fighting for, find it. Because none of us that have kids, how many of us have kids? Raise your hand. Listen, keep your hands up. We don't even have the right to tell our kids to fight for something, to have an amazing attitude. When things aren't going good, don't quit if you're not willing to position yourself to do the same thing. Put your hands down. Find something to fight for. Most of you already know what it is. Some of us just let life get in between it. And had kids, this came up, this bill, this divorce, this kid, this college. We know what we're created to do. Everyone here goes to sleep with or wakes up with what they know or thought at one time what they would do with their life. Find a way to pick that thing up and continue to fight for it. I'm not telling you how it's going to end up, but people are counting on you. And the last one of the last things that I'm gonna leave you guys with is this. Find something that you can put over your life that's so big that you won't take for granted, that when we are going through our stuff every single day, legitimate stuff that other people try to tell us to ignore, or maybe some people say, oh, you're exaggerating with how you feel. No, how you feel with how you feel. But the way I handle those things is that I keep something over my life that's so big, guys, that stuff I go through every day, sometimes it's self-inflicted. That the stuff that I go through every day seems so small because of that thing I have in my life that's so big that honestly, guys, there's nothing in my life that I could ever imagine that would come in that would make me quit on myself, quit on that dream and that lifestyle and that journey that I know for a fact that I have for myself. And for me personally, guys, I have a relationship with God and I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's not spooky. It's not no. What it does for me personally is that God allows me to focus on him so much that when I feel like I want to quit, and I do feel like I want to quit, when things aren't going my way, and generally they don't, sometimes I feel like, you know what, I'm not that valuable and I'm not worth it. But when I focus on God and focus on Jesus, and those thoughts and those circumstances come into my life, come knocking on my door, I look at him and say, man, please, yeah, you're there, and I'm not going to ignore you, but you can't make me quit, because I focus on something that's so much bigger than anything you can bring to my doorstep. So the 3 challenges that I'm just going to leave for you guys today to fight for is to, 1, fight to take responsibility for your legacy. Only you guys are responsible for how you'll be remembered from day to day in the rest of your life. Only you, no one else. The second challenge I'm gonna ask you guys to fight for is to fight for your journey. Fight for that dream and that lifestyle. When things aren't going your way, when you screw things up, when other people blame you for screwing things up, when you're not so confident about yourself, find a way to fight to do whatever it takes for you to jump over every obstacle and finish that race. And the last challenge I'm gonna ask you guys to fight for, and it may be one of the hardest ones, but I'm telling you, it's one of the strongest and most powerful ones. Find something that you can put over your life that's so big that you can focus on. You personally, not me. I told you what mine is. You find yours for yourself. Find something that you can put over your life that's so big that when we're going through our challenges and our emotional stuff and our drama and our self-doubt, and when people are doubting us and saying things and we're going through that and we're questioning ourselves, find something you can put over your life that's so big that when those things come up, they seem so small. And nothing that ever comes in your life could ever make you think that you're not valuable. Nothing could ever come in your life that would make you give up on your life. And nothing will ever make you fight for that gift, that strength, and that lifestyle and dream that you've chosen for yourselves. So the 3 challenges, guys, is to 1, take responsibility for your legacy. The second one is to fight for your dream. And the last one, guys, understand your value is so awesome that you'll find something that you can put over your life that's so big that nothing will ever make you quit on yourself, give up on your dream or your lifestyle. Thank you guys for allowing me to share. God bless you all. You guys are fantastic.